ships played a crucial role in World War II, influencing major battles in the Atlantic and Pacific, as well as smaller engagements in the Arctic and Mediterranean. The impressive navies included aircraft carriers, battleships, and destroyers, each fulfilling essential roles like shore bombardment and transport duties. Aircraft carriers notably were vital during the attack on Pearl Harbor, which drew the United States into the war. In the Atlantic, convoys faced U-boat threats, underscoring the importance of naval superiority. These naval forces were transformative, significantly supporting the Allied campaign and contributing to victory. At the outbreak of World War II, the Royal Navy was the largest globally. However, as the war progressed, the US Navy surpassed it in numbers, with Japan and the Soviet Union also increasing their fleet production. The following are the 10 most influential ships of World War II, ranked by firepower, performance, and historical significance. At number 10, USS Indianapolis. One of the last missions of Indianapolis was to deliver parts of the atomic bomb that would be dropped on Japan. However, the story of the Indianapolis did not end there. As the flagship of the US Fifth Fleet, it took part in many important battles in the Pacific, including the bombardment of Iwo Jima. Its speed made it perfect for carrying the atomic bombs from San Francisco to the Mariana Islands. After completing this secret mission in 10 days, it was on its way to the Philippines when, on July 30, 1945, a Japanese submarine struck it with torpedoes. Around 900 men survived the sinking, but the next 3 days were filled with horror. Sharks attacked many of these survivors, picking off dehydrated and weak crew members one by one in a terrifying struggle for survival. This story was famously depicted by Robert Shaw's character in the movie Jaws and marked one of the last naval tragedies of World War II. In the end, only 317 men survived. Number 9. The HMS Prince of Wales. The HMS Prince of Wales was the most advanced ship in the British fleet. It had 10 14-inch guns, 16 5.25-inch guns, and over 30 anti-aircraft guns. It was equipped with the latest rangefinder and radar technology. The ship also carried 2 seaplanes for reconnaissance. Prince of Wales had a significant history in the early part of World War II, and it first fought in the Battle of Atlantic, where it suffered serious damage from Luftwaffe bombing. After repairs, it went to Scandinavia in 1941, where it joined HMS Hood to hunt down the German battleship Bismarck. The ship also transported Winston Churchill across the Atlantic for meetings with President Roosevelt and was later sent to Singapore to engage with the Japanese. Despite its advanced technology and firepower, the HMS Prince of Wales was destroyed east of Malaysia in 1941. 9 Japanese torpedo bombers attacked the ship multiple times. After taking several torpedo hits, it sank with a loss of 327 out of about 1,600 crew members, even though a British destroyer attempted a last-minute rescue. Number 8. The USS Missouri. The USS Missouri, also known as the Mighty Mo, is a famous battleship still in existence. It is a large Iowa-class battleship that weighs 45,000 tons and was commissioned in 1944. The Missouri was one of the most modern ships of its time. In terms of firepower, the ship carries 9 16-inch guns, 25-inch guns, 80 40mm guns, and 49 20mm guns. The Missouri was involved in the Pacific Theater during World War II, including the assault on Iwo Jima and other Japanese islands. It became the 3rd Fleet flagship and hosted the signing of the Japanese surrender on September 2, 1945 in Tokyo Bay. This historic event was led by General Douglas MacArthur and other high-ranking officials, marking the end of World War II. The USS Missouri is the last American battleship ever built. It also served in the Korean War and Operation Desert Storm. Today, it is retired and serves as a museum in Pearl Harbor, attracting many visitors. The ship also appeared in Cher's 1989 music video for the song If I Could Turn Back Time, adding a unique chapter to its history. Number 7. Tirpitz. The German battleship Tirpitz was a massive and powerful ship in the Atlantic during World War II. It was heavily armored, allowing it to survive multiple attacks from the Allies, including direct hits. This made it a major concern for British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who saw it as a challenging target. The turrets disrupted Allied supply lines during the war. Its armor was over 3 inches thick on its deck and more than 13 inches thick on its conning tower, leading some to think that it was almost indestructible. It was well armed with 8 38cm guns, 12 15cm guns, 52 smaller guns and 8 torpedo tubes, making it capable of causing significant destruction. After many unsuccessful attempts to stop the turrets, it was finally sunk by RAF bombers on November 12, 1944. This was partly due to luck, as a group of Lancaster bombers found unusually clear weather on the Norwegian coast while enemy fighters were distracted by communication errors. Like the monster Grendel from Scandinavian legends, Hitler's prized ship lay destroyed. Number 6. USS Enterprise. The USS Enterprise CV-6, known as the Big E, was the 7th ship named Enterprise, with a history dating back to 1775. This aircraft carrier was the most famous of its kind and played a key role in many important battles in the Pacific. The USS Enterprise was part of the Yorktown class of carriers, recognized for their strength and ability to withstand damage thanks to multiple watertight compartments. It had an initial weight of 25,500 tons when fully loaded, but after refurbishment in 1943, its weight increased to over 32,000 tons. The ship measured over 827 feet long and 114 feet wide. It could hold around 1.5 million gallons of fuel and 178,000 gallons of aviation gas, giving it a range of over 10,000 nautical miles. The Enterprise could carry between 80 and 90 planes, reaching a maximum of 96 aircraft, making it a valuable asset for the US Navy. It participated in major events like the attack on Pearl Harbor, the Guadalcanal Campaign, the Battle of Midway, the Battle of Leyte Gulf, and the Battle of the Philippine Sea. However, the USS Enterprise was decommissioned in 1947 and scrapped by 1960. Number 5. The Yamato. The Yamato was already being built while the Navy attacked Pearl Harbor. By the time it was launched, it was larger than any US battleship. The massive ship was equipped with the biggest guns ever made for a warship, which had 18.1-inch calibers. The US Navy had agreed to limits on gun sizes in the Washington Treaty of 1922, but Japan had left the treaty 4 years before World War II began. The Yamato held a significant cultural importance for Japan, and they used it carefully, as losing it could hurt national pride and morale. Unfortunately, the loss did happen. On April 1, 1945, after serving in the Leyte Gulf in the Philippines, the Yamato was headed to Okinawa as a part of Operation Tengo when it came under attack from a group of planes from the US carrier fleet. That same day, the Yamato was hit by multiple bombs and torpedoes, sinking and resulting in the loss of more than 2,500 lives on board. Number 4. HMS Hood. By World War II, the battlecruiser HMS Hood was nearly 20 years old. HMS Hood was an early casualty of the war and is known for participating in one of the most infamous naval battles in history. As the flagship of the British fleet, its loss sparked the hunt for the German battleship Bismarck, serving as retaliation for a major blow to national pride. The Hood, designed during World War I, was well built and showcased modern engineering at the time of its launch. Its armor made up 13,550 tons of its weight and was almost 2 inches thick in some places. The Hood was not only tough, it could also deliver powerful fire. It was armed with 8 15-inch guns, 12 5.5-inch guns, and an anti-aircraft battery. The end of the HMS Hood was tragic. The German Navy outmaneuvered it, and the Bismarck sank the ship near the United States Kingdom on May 24, 1941. Out of 1,400 crew members, only 3 survived. This loss ignited a race to locate and defeat Germany's leading battleship, while the Allies fought for control of the seas. Number 3. USS Arizona. The legendary USS Arizona served in the United States Navy since World War I. Like the HMS Hood, Arizona was one of the early casualties of the World War II during the attack on Pearl Harbor. Upon inspection, it was determined that the vessel had been struck by horizontal bombers rather than by torpedo as was initially believed. A massive explosion occurred beneath the decks when the Arizona's magazine detonated, devastating the ship and resulting in the deaths of over 1,100 crew members as it sank to the bottom of the harbor, where it continued to burn for days. Although the USS Arizona never actively served in World War II, it played a crucial role in the United States' emergence as a major Allied power. The attack on Pearl Harbor, in which the ship accounted for half of the lives lost, prompted the U.S. to enter the war immediately. Today, it stands as a national monument honoring the sacrifices of U.S. troops during World War II. Number 2. Bismarck. The Bismarck was the main warship of Germany and its most famous battleship. It was designed in 1934, during a time when Germany was limited in naval size due to the Treaty of Versailles. Hitler rejected this treaty and approved the building of a large battleship to show Germany's strength. The Bismarck became the leader of the German naval fleet. It was very large, weighing up to 41,700 tons and measuring over 790 feet long. It had thick armor, with some parts up to 1 foot thick. The Bismarck carried powerful weapons, including 8 main guns that were 15 inches in caliber, 12 6-inch secondary guns, and many anti-aircraft guns to defend against aerial attacks. The British sank the Bismarck in 1941, which was a major boost for British morale, just hours after Germany had sunk its own flagship, HMS Hood. Over 2,000 crew members died when the ship sank to over 15,000 feet deep. This disaster added to many shipwrecks that lay on the cold floor of the Atlantic Ocean from World War II. Number 1. USS North Carolina. The USS North Carolina was commissioned in April 1941, just before Japan's surprise attack brought the United States into World War II. It was the first battleship added to the fleet in almost 20 years. This decision was important for the U.S. The North Carolina was the lead ship of its class and quickly joined the fight in the Pacific, taking part in the difficult Guadalcanal campaign. The North Carolina class of battleships weighed nearly 45,000 tons when fully loaded. Its armor was up to 16 inches thick. It was armed with 9 main guns that fired 16-inch shells, 20 secondary guns that were 5 inches each, and 16 aircraft guns. Throughout World War II, North Carolina stayed in the Pacific. It played a key role in many operations, including battles at Guadalcanal, Tulagi, the Marshall Islands, the Gilbert Islands, Leyte, and Luzon in the Philippines, and during the assaults on Iwo Jima and Okinawa. The North Carolina became one of the most famous ships in the U.S. fleet. It was known for its durability during the war. Today, it is a museum located in North Carolina and has been preserved, unlike many other ships that were destroyed. The North Carolina serves as a reminder of the vital role that ships played during this challenging time in history. With this, the Buzz is signing off for today, but stay tuned as we bring you more interesting videos from the world of military. We'll see you guys in our next video. Bye-bye.